Hey guys, it's Kay from KS Anonymous, and I am back today with another episode of r/AITA, or r/AmITheA. AITA for not waking up my girlfriend for her exam after I overheard her calling me a little bee. My girlfriend has online summer courses, and she had an exam for one of them this morning. I usually wake her up for pretty much everything because she sleeps through her phone alarm no matter how long it buzzes or how many she sets. She has joked that I'm her butler before, and within the context of a relationship, it's okay, so I didn't mind. Obviously, I want to love my partner and try to make her life easy. However, last night, she was chatting with her friends, and she thought I couldn't hear. She was bragging that I'm her little bee, and I do everything for her when she tells me to, etc. It really hurt my feelings because they were making comments like, "Good, put him in his place," and she was agreeing. She specifically said, "Yeah, I'm not worried about tomorrow because the bee will make sure I'm up and he'll probably have breakfast ready for me too." I went to bed pretty hurt by it, and come morning, I didn't bother to wake her up when her alarm started to go. She usually only gets up when someone physically shakes her, but I let her turn off her alarm and she slipped back into sleep, and I turned around and went back to sleep too. When she woke up, she was yelling at me, saying I'm an a-hole and I've cost her exam and I'm a piece of crap for what I did. Edit. Sorry for not responding sooner. I wrote this up on my break at work and now I have to get back to it. Can't have my phone work with food. I wasn't expecting this many replies so fast. I think we're breaking up. I told her this morning after she called me a bee for being upset being called a bee, lol. But she says she's not done with me. I'm just trying to get through today's shift and then deal with stuff later. I'll try and get back as I can. We've been together a year and it was my first real relationship, but I'm tired of her not acknowledging how crappy she made me feel and still calling me a bee. That word is really making me feel crappy and small. Yeah, no, your girlfriend is definitely the a-hole here, not you. I'm really glad that you guys are breaking up. That is such a messed up relationship dynamic. And for her to just be like, oh yeah, and he's gonna do this for me, and I bet he'll even have, no. And then not even apologizing when you confront her about it, absolutely not. So no, you're not the a-hole. I'm so glad you're getting out of that relationship because that's just gross, and you deserve so much better than that. AITA for not letting my son graduate high school early. My 16-year-old son has always hated school. He does well, but is bored. His counselor suggested taking short-term elective summer classes. Those classes would count toward his high school credits when he starts his senior year. His counselor also suggested taking community college courses that would satisfy required classes that he would have to take as a junior or senior, i.e. history or poli-sci. The community college classes would be free, online, and would count towards his college degree. The goal was that by the time he started his senior year, he would only have to take a couple of BS classes and stay at school for a couple of hours a day. Literally, he could come to school at 10 a.m. and leave by noon. That really excited him. After 2 years of summer school and online community college classes, he has accrued so many credits that he could hypothetically graduate in 2021 instead of 2022. My son really wanted to do this, and I said no. My fear is that he will regret it. He doesn't know anyone in the class of 2021 and will miss out socially. Plus, if he were to graduate early, then he would resume going to community college full-time on campus, and I don't think he's ready for that sudden change. Edit. Even his high school counselor thinks it's a bad idea to let him graduate a year early. Edit. Also, by graduating in 2022, he can do even more online community college classes, and the school district pays for it all, including books. This will save literally thousands of dollars. Edit. For people who are saying that community college offers great clubs, housing, and has tons of students, my son's age have no idea what they're talking about. The CC that my son goes to is a commuter college. The vast majority of them are working adults, so there are no functional clubs, and they are much older than my son, and I have never heard of any CC offering student housing, and this is California. Edit. I also stand corrected by the cost. My son will actually have to take upper divisional courses, which cost $84 per unit, excluding books, materials, and other fees. It comes out to about $1,500 a semester full-time, and that is a lot of money. Edit. My son hates his teachers, not his friends, and it's not like he loves community college either. Edit. This has nothing to do with my son getting older. Even if he were to go straight to a university, he would still live at home. I am not paying $13,000 a year for him to live in some small shared dorm 9 months a year. And yes, that's how much it costs for student housing in our state, and that's at a state university. F that crap. So a lot of people felt like this person was the a-hole for not letting their son graduate early. I'm conflicted, because a lot of times when you're younger, you have all these fantastic ideas and don't realize they're not as fantastic as you thought they were. But then again, if it'd be nice to graduate early, like I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If it's cheaper to get the community college classes and stay in another year, you might have that conversation with him, like, you know, oh, I'll cover this for you if you stay in for this time or something like that. I also go to a community college, so I am aware that it's not like you're gonna have the typical college lifestyle, especially being someone who is an adult learner coming back. Obviously, I don't have peers that are like classmates from high school, and a lot of these people are coming into these community colleges with their peers who graduated from high school with them, and that's kind of how they're developing their friend groups and being able to hang out with people and stuff. But a lot of these people, we just kind of like study on our own. We go to the class and go back home or whatever else. And so I can see why that might be concerning, because it's not your typical like state college or other type of college situation. It's not going to be that glamorous. So I don't know. I feel like this is a bit touchy. I don't know that I would really say that this person's being an a-hole though, especially if they've talked to the counselor and if their child would still be, you know, at home either way. I think I don't know. What do you guys think on this one? I'm conflicted. I don't know. AITA for helping my daughter with her video creation, despite my ex-wife's disapproval. My ex was always a super detached parent. Our divorce wasn't messy, thank God, but she didn't want any custody or visitation of our daughter. My daughter is 15, nearing 16. I've pretty much raised her with my fiance, and only in the past year or so, my ex is trying to get involved again. I let her be involved, make decisions, visit, as it's probably healthier in the long run, but she's overcompensating for being an absent parent by trying to helicopter. One thing is she hates the fact my daughter has a presence on TikTok or YouTube. I've made it clear to my daughter that as long as her content remains appropriate and she's not doing anything crazy, I'm not going to take that away from her or let my ex do so. Once upon a time, I worked in the film industry, once upon a time, I worked in the music industry, and once upon a time again, I worked in robotics. We've, my fiance, my daughter, and I, have built a bunch of filming equipment for her, remote control rails, knockoff Steadicam, built a studio in a spare room, various camera, phone mounts, etc. I've helped film, taught editing skills, etc. I'm pretty much willing to help in any way that doesn't put my face on camera. My ex hates the fact I'm supporting my daughter in what she considers to be a horrible thing, and I'm an a-hole for not caring what my ex thinks. I don't get why. My daughter's earning money and managing saving, spending it on her own in an appropriate way from it. Her content, while it can be a bit grotesque as she likes special effects, isn't inappropriate or anything. I just don't see why I shouldn't encourage it. AITA? Yeah, no, I don't think you're the a-hole. I only think that the mom would have a say here if it was like the situation with some of these younger people who are being clearly exploited, who are doing clearly inappropriate things, and just could be very well taken advantage of because of the kind of content they put out. Obviously, anyone could be, but just especially the fact that he is so involved in the content creation, that he's supporting her, and clearly she feels comfortable including him in all that process. I think that's probably the healthiest way for a teenager to be on these platforms, because there are adults who who are in on this, who are able to kind of monitor things and make sure they don't get out of hand, to help counsel on situations and stuff like that. I don't see anything wrong with that. I think the mom is indeed probably trying to overcompensate, and maybe she's heard the horror stories, of younger people being online. She's probably trying to make up for all that time she's been gone, but that doesn't really give her a right to try to take away something that her daughter has worked really hard on and is probably pretty successful at. If you're making money off of it online, you're being at least somewhat successful, and to try to just take that away because she feels like it, I don't like that. AITA for not wanting my wife's cousin to move in with us. Hello, fellow a-holes. First off, thank you for giving me some perspective on my previous post about me and my wife. It helped us start a conversation and reach a better position in our marriage. My wife's cousin, let's call her Sarah, wants to move in with us because she recently had her second baby and wants more room to raise her family. Both me and my wife were the first people to marry outside our races, and we came from very different backgrounds. My wife is huge on family, and I'm not so much. My wife's family has lived with us before. Her aunt lived with us for 2 years when she fell on hard times till she got a good job and moved out. Her other cousin lived with us for a year after getting out of prison until he also got a job and moved out. I was fine with all of this. I am not okay with Sarah moving in with us. Sarah is a single mother of 2 kids who lives completely off government assistance, government housing, utilities, food stamps, you name it. Tax dollars provide her entire life. She has been doing this for 7 years, has no job, and does not intend to get one. I fully believe she just wants to live with us to have a bigger and better house and lifestyle. If she moves in, she will never move out. She lives in low-income New Jersey housing. We live in a 6-bedroom in Minnesota. She says we have the room, and it's our duty to help out family. I told her I'm not willing to help a grown woman who doesn't want to help herself. So, am I the a-hole? Edit, well, this went nuclear while I was at work. I could print this thread off and bind it into a book titled Sarah and the Destruction of a Marriage. Well, yikes on that ending there. I don't think you're an a-hole for not wanting someone who is clearly wanting to use your wife and you and your house and your funds just to basically fund her and make her life better. I think if it had to come down to it and your wife feels really bad for not letting her or something, maybe y'all can come up with a contract where she has to get a job and under certain circumstances, etc., and then move out by a certain time. And if the contract is broken, you can just boot her out and have it in writing and sign it and stuff like that. But I know that's a lot easier said than done when it comes to family. I don't think it's a good idea. I think, I would probably point out to your wife, I was okay with these family members because of these reasons, but clearly Sarah just wants to use you, and you're not obligated to give your things to other people. And that's one of the most annoying things, I think, just about a lot of people. They think if you have more, you are obligated to give me some of that. No, you're not. That's yours. You don't have to give it to anybody else. So if you want to have 500 bedrooms and 490 of them are completely empty and Sarah wants to move in, guess what? You can still have Sarah not move in. It's just, I don't know. I get her values are different though when it comes to family and stuff, but it just sounds like a bad idea. AITA for wanting to sleep in. Right now, I am the only one who works, albeit from home, but I work over 40 hours a week. My husband is laid off, and we have a 3.5-year-old. Backstory. Prior to all of this 3 months ago, my husband was a couch sleeper. He is the type that just falls asleep easy. So 6 days out of 7, I would be the one getting up with our daughter every night, and we take turns with putting her to bed. Now that I am the only one who works, I told him that he should be getting up with her most nights because I get up in the morning, and also sleeping downstairs would allow our kid not to wake up to my alarm, and I wouldn't have to wake him up in the morning when I came downstairs to have coffee and start work. He didn't like that and thought it is only fair to split nights. Funny, he thought it was fair before he was laid off that I got up with her every night. They sleep in until 8 to 9 a.m. every day. Now yesterday, my dog tried to lunge at another dog going in our driveway, and when I pulled her back, I somehow screwed up my back. Can barely walk. It was my night on the couch last night, but he didn't want to go to bed, so he was downstairs till 1 a.m. playing his video games. So I didn't fall asleep till after 1 a.m. I would have went upstairs, but being in pain, I couldn't. I also had a crappy night's sleep. So this morning, my daughter woke up at 8 a.m. and he told her to leave him and wake me up. I took her and hobbled upstairs and got into bed with him. He got mad that I woke him up and that I was trying to lay back down. He started yelling at me. I told him it was 8:30 in the morning, not 6:30, and I work all week, so I deserve to be able to sleep in, since they both sleep in every day, and my back hurts and I had a crappy night's sleep. He isn't speaking to me. AITA, I don't think you're an a-hole. I think this is like one of those situations where it's hard for people to like realize each other's daily life burdens, responsibilities, etc. And when things change, all of a sudden they don't understand like why you also might change expectations and stuff like that. It's hard for people to adjust to change, and I get being irritated and everything, but it's kind of annoying to me that like he knew that your back was like hurt really bad and then still was like go to your mom. Like that rubs me the wrong way personally. AITA, for making my 16-year-old stepdaughter do more work around the house. There's no school and she doesn't have a job, so my stepdaughter has no responsibilities at the moment. For context, her dad was a single dad until he met me when she was 10, and now we have 2 more children together. Her dad is a GP, so he works pretty much constantly, and I'm left looking after 2 children by myself for the majority of the day, both 5 and 2 years old, respectively. Apart from cooking the daily family meal twice a week max, looking after the children twice a week when we go grocery shopping and helping me put away said grocery shopping, my stepdaughter does nothing to help when I'm clearly in over my head, and she's old enough to be taught a little responsibility. When I was her age, I was working 2 jobs and looked after my little sister and helped out around the house without being asked. She has to be asked to do every little thing apart from the things mentioned so far, and almost always does them begrudgingly. To teach her a better work ethic, I put together a chart full of chores she has to do every day. Until she's done them, she's banned from using her devices, both her phone and her iPad, and I also take away whatever books she's reading at the moment. She can have them back when all the chores are done. A typical day for the past week has involved her doing 5 chores of her choice from a list. The choices are, as examples, vacuum all of upstairs or downstairs, wash the floor, cook dinner, fold the laundry, do the dishes, dust any surfaces, tidy your siblings' rooms, walk the dogs, pick up dog poop from the garden, etc. This was all working out fine until my husband caught on to what was going on, and he accused me of being lazy and punishing her for no reason and overstepping boundaries. I don't agree at all. The household is running much more smoothly with her help, and I have more time to spend educating my 5-year-old since school is out, and I need to make sure he doesn't fall behind. AITA? I'm highly concerned about the line until my husband caught on to what was going on. So you did not talk to your husband, who is the biological father of this girl who is 16, about your fantastic idea, and it almost sounds like maybe you weren't really wanting him to know about it. So like, don't you already know that what you're doing is a little sketchy? Look, I get the concept of, yes, doing chores around the house for children should be a thing, especially older children. 16 years old, you can handle doing some chores, but you also said that she does do chores. Cooking the family meal twice a week is a chore. Watching your children at certain times is a chore. I get like maybe adding 1 or 2 other responsibilities to that list, but to take away all of her things that she would enjoy, to pick 5 things off of that list to do before she can do anything, so you can educate your 5-year-old so he doesn't fall behind. Come on now. Come on. I don't know that you're being lazy, but I also think you already knew you were being sketchy if you didn't talk to your husband about it. And that is overstepping, because you knew he'd have a problem with it. If you had talked to him and y'all had that conversation, or maybe even threw in like here's a couple bucks a week or whatever for completing these chores or something. Like, you can't suddenly change a bunch of things and then expect it all to go smoothly. Like, that doesn't make sense. What are you doing? Anyway, that is going to wrap up today's episode. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and drop a like and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Really quickly, I'd like to thank my patrons. Up on the screen, you should see my face palmers and my crazy K's. Thank you all so much for supporting me in that way. If you're interested in becoming a patron, checking out the original posts from today's video, or sending me an email for possible inclusion in a future video, all of that information is in the description box, so be sure to check it out. And I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye!